Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal. In this video, I'm gonna compare AMD, Nvidia, and SMCI financials and give you guys my assessment for best future investment based on forward PE ratio. This is my method of analyzing stock strength and future upside potential. You may agree or disagree with my analysis. If you do, please write in the comment section. We can have interactive discussion. I encourage you to please watch this video till the end. It will be a good learning for you. I promise. Now let's get started. You see this table on your screen? This is about AMD. I put together the summary of the financial data starting from revenue through income, margin percentages, EPS actuals, free cash flow per share, and debt to equity ratio for last 5 quarters. And similar table I have for Nvidia and SMCI. We'll compare all three together once we are done talking about each individual stock. So starting with the revenue for AMD, see that revenue is going in the right direction, going up each quarter. And if you compare year over year, I have column M. Year over year means same quarter this year versus same quarter last year. Okay, so 10% increase year over year. Quarter over quarter in column N, that talks about this quarter versus the last quarter. In both domain, the revenue is going up. Same thing with the net income. 3000% increase year over year and 123% increase quarter over quarter. Profit margin percentages also same story. Gross margin same story. See quarter over quarter a little bit lower than the last quarter, but not too far off. Same thing with EBITDA, that is earning before interest, taxes, and depreciation margin percentage. You see last quarter versus this quarter is positive, but if you compare last year same quarter, slightly negative, not too far off. EPS actuals going in the right direction, all positive each quarter, going up. Free cash flow per share this quarter is down versus the last quarter, and same thing last year same quarter is down. But overall, free cash flow per share does not impact much on the stock value. So we can ignore this for now. Debt to equity ratio going in the right direction, no major change, all zero. Okay. I also have column H and column I, that is year over year change and quarter over quarter change. You see for revenue going up year over year and quarter over quarter. Same thing for net income going in the right direction. Same thing for profit margin percentages. All three margins are going up year over year and quarter over quarter. EPS actuals, all 5-6 quarter trend is up. See, free cash flow per share going in the right direction, going up. Debt to equity ratio is going down. That's a very good sign. Now let's take a quick look on SMCI. I made a similar table for last 5 quarters, starting from revenue through debt to equity ratio. If you compare year over year and quarter over quarter, this is the table. You see that year over year and quarter over quarter for revenue going up. Net income also positive going up. Profit margin, I see we have a problem. Year over year is negative, but quarter over quarter is positive. I guess SMCI has to work more on the margin growth. It doesn't look to me as healthy as Nvidia or AMD. Okay, but quarter over quarter, last quarter versus this quarter is going in the right direction, positive. Gross margin negative little bit, but overall all three margins positive. EPS actual going in the right direction, positive 60% quarter over quarter, and year over year 71%. Free cash flow per share going in the negative direction. That's not good for SMCI, but as I told you, free cash flow per share does not impact much on the stock value. Debt to equity ratio going up, not a good sign for SMCI. Now let's compare side by side AMD, Nvidia, and SMCI. Now I have this table side by side for AMD, Nvidia, and SMCI for all of these items. Starting with the revenue, see that Nvidia year over year much higher than AMD, and SMCI quarter over quarter, Nvidia is higher than AMD but less than SMCI. But overall, looks to me on the revenue side, Nvidia is doing much better job than AMD and SMCI. So I'll put the winner Nvidia for revenue. Net income, looking at Nvidia, looks to me that AMD is doing much better job than Nvidia and SMCI. So I put AMD for the net income. Profit margin percentages, AMD is much higher than Nvidia and SMCI, both for quarter and year over year. So I put AMD as a clear winner for profit margin percentages. Gross margin percentage and EBITDA in both areas, looks to me Nvidia is doing a better job than AMD and SMCI. EPS actual, it looks to me Nvidia is doing much better job than AMD and SMCI. So I put Nvidia there. Free cash flow per share, again, Nvidia is doing better job than the other two companies. So I put Nvidia, and debt to equity ratio is going negative for Nvidia. That's a positive sign. So I put Nvidia as a winner. Now, the most important thing, the forward P ratio. Let's compare for all three companies. Now you see this table, now for the graph I put together for all last 6 quarters plus the latest current P forward for all three companies based on 0301. Okay, that is today's date. So, and also I plotted in the graph for all three companies. See, AMD is blue, Nvidia is pink, SMCI is yellow. Now take a look at this graph. What do you see? What I see at this point, AMD forward PE ratio is much higher than the other two companies. Nvidia lie in the middle, and the lowest PE ratio at this point is SMCI. But look at the slope. It started growing, SMCI. At some point, next quarter or something, I'm guessing it might beat Nvidia in terms of the PE ratio. In general, the lesser the P ratio, higher the potential for the stock to go up. In this case, SMCI has more potential at this point to go up in the future based on the forward P ratio. But the risk here is SMCI P ratio has never been that high in the last year or so. So it's a sudden increase in last 2-3 quarters. So it may stabilize sometime next quarter or so. There is a possibility, right? But if you want to play safe and you want to manage the reward and the risk at the same time, I would go for Nvidia because Nvidia lie in the middle. It's not too high and not too low at this point, the P ratio. So in the future, Nvidia looks to me a safer bet than the other two companies. And also, we notice that the financial growth of Nvidia is much better than other two companies. So both in terms of the P ratio and also in terms of the financial analysis, Nvidia looks to me a better candidate for long-term investment. So guys, this was my analysis both in terms of the financial data and the P ratio forward. Please give me your feedback in the comment section. We can have a discussion. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more next week. Take care.